What's up, guys? Studfit here, joined by my good friend Antilev. Welcome, Antilev. How you doing?
Hello, I'm doing great. How are you?
Good. We're going to space. We're channeling our inner Elon and taking Mario Kart Tour into outer space. We absolutely love outer space. Outer space is like one of those cool things. It's mind blowing to even think about the fact that we're all on this Earth, even though we're like you're 6 hours ahead of me, and so we always feel like we're like on different planets, but like no, we're on the same Earth, and there is outer space, and it's a whole nother world. And so I'm really excited about this tour. I love like the colors, the all the different shades of rainbow and all the cool stuff. I will say, having been someone who did not get to play the Rainbow Road on the Wii, I'm not as up in arms as the rest of the community about how they shorten this track. And I know I made the mistake of reading Reddit comments about and the arguments all against and pro for, not necessarily pro, but I think everyone is generally kind of disappointed, kind of lackluster. Just the fact that the Wii Rainbow Road is a shorter track. I will say I'm more concerned about the item boxes. Only having 4 item boxes is brutal. I absolutely hate any track that I only get 4 item boxes, because I'm really banking on the fact that I'm using these odds to get my optimum run and get off as soon as possible. So to know that I have only 4 boxes to do it in, it means I'm getting a coin box frenzy or some kind of like premium frenzy, and then a single, and then another frenzy, and then a single, or whatever type of skill you're using. In this case, maybe lucky 7, you're trying to get a single, and then lucky 7, and then you're just praying for a coin in the last 2. So it's gonna be really, really tough to get the optimum run. You're gonna just have to have every single item box fall in your way. But overall, it's a fun course, and they did a really good job with the actual style, how they built the track. There were some it was a little controversial as to whether they should have moved it 2 laps, and it looks like, just from watching Carlos yesterday, he got 180 actions off of 1 lap. So you're thinking about it, you're talking about 300 plus actions. The game's just not built for that. The game is built for somewhere in the 150 to 200. Like, that's probably like the optimum number of actions that Nintendo was looking for any track. And yeah, we have some shorter, yeah, we have some longer, but that's kind of like that sweet spot of where Nintendo wants you to reach for that the 200 actions, which as you know, that getting those bonus point boosts, stopping right at 200 actions, it's you're trying to aim for 200 actions every single time. So long story short, I think they probably made it Mario Kart Tour stamped version of what is a great track. And yeah, as cool as it would be to go around a second time, get bonkers world records, guys, this is Mario Kart Tour. They made it so that the actions fit the game. It does look like they kind of like when you're talking about scaling, they actually kind of made it a little bigger, much more wider from what it sounds like. Good friend SwiftJar did a good video comparing the two. But overall, I like the track. It's kind of fun. I will say, just it's going to be annoying. And it's probably going to be one of my lower. I mean, even like Riverside Park, love the actual like track itself. Only having 4 item boxes puts it at the bottom of the list for me. So that's how I feel about it. Let's just air our dirty laundry. What's your thoughts on the Rainbow Road and the brand new track?
I think you make a really good point. I'm looking at DKR's ACR sheet, and I'm looking at the action count targets for Wii Rainbow Road. For 3 of the 4 tracks have coin bucks on them. They're all 4-box tracks total, except for T, which is 3 box, which is bizarre. It's the least box we have on the tour. But the track targets are 185. 180 on R with Boomerang, there's no coin box there. 165 on Rainbow Road T, 205 on RT. Look, I understand, and I am someone who played a lot of Mario Kart Wii. It's probably, aside from the SNES version and maybe Mario Kart 64, it's probably the one I played the most out of the whole series. They can't put a track in the game where you can get 200 actions frenzyless, and because here's the thing: like, if you do that, then there is no skill involved. There is no grinding involved. You just go, you run, you get your 200 actions, and you're done. And then it's just a loadout battle. If you have people in your ranked who have got a higher loadout than you, who spend more money, who wail more,
Yep.
you're gonna lose. I mean, it's just this is better for competition. I understand the disappointment. I understand, the general disappointment about this tour, that people were upset there's not a astronaut toad or spode badge.
The badge, yeah.
And so, but I mean, again, look at the image to my left. That is Mario Satellaview front and center. Like, from the moment we saw that image, we should have been aware that that was going to be the badge. Yes, it's not true to the original, but I mean, nothing in Mario Kart Tour is true to the original. It's made for Mario Kart Tour. I love the new track. I think it's great. And I think the fact that it's only one lap. Look, here's the thing. Short tracks can be annoying. They're hard to grind. But short tracks, you can get ahead on skill, because every single extra action that you squeeze out, look at T, it's only 3 item boxes. 165, I mean, there's a lot of room above that. If you can get like a somehow perfect run and get to like 170, 175, that's way more extra points than going from 200 to 210, because of that soft cap. So yes, I understand the disappointment that it's not the same as what it's like on the Wii, but for Mario Kart Tour, I think it's perfect. And it's a look, here's my test for whether a track is fun and good or not. I give the phone to my kids, I let them play it, and I see what their reaction is. They love this track. They think it's awesome. It's like, this is my favorite track in the game. It's just let go of your, kind of preconceived notions of what you expected and just enjoy it. It's a beautiful track. It's really well done. And the fact that it's only one lap, okay, just go race it twice. Sorry. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I think if you have skill, you should be happy about this. That's my
exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
If you actually feel like you want to show off how good you are, otherwise your skill is going to waste. So there's that. I will say there's always this little corner of the community that's I'm still having a hard time describing who they are, but they're like, they want to prove that how cool they are, and so they're like, I hate this track because it should have been this, and like, I don't know. To me, I'm just those people are missing the point that you just talked about handing the phone to your kid, just relaxing and just enjoying it for what it is. And honestly, I mean, I remember when I first started playing this game, there'd be tracks I'm like, oh, I really hope that track doesn't come back. It was so hard. I really don't want to do it again. And then about a year later, I was just like, you know what? They're all coming back. I can't avoid or root against tracks coming back. I just have to embrace it, figure my lines out, and hope for the best. I will say, I'm still not a big fan of the Boo Lake, the new Boo Lakes and some of the Ghost Valleys anyway, and that's what we got in this tour. So, you can't all have our cake and eat it too. So appreciate that. Also, while we're talking about cake and eat it too, thank you to all those who wished me a happy birthday on Monday. I absolutely had a blast.
Happy birthday, man.
Thank you. And so I also will be going on vacation next week with my wife as an anniversary trip. So we'll see. I'm trying to see if I can try to squeeze a Kart Talk out before we leave on Tuesday, but this might be the first time in 39 tours that haven't recorded the Kart Talk. So we'll see what happens there, but it's been an absolute good run. Still definitely want to try to see if I can squeeze it out. But there might actually be a tour reaction on the beach. So we'll see how we do with that. But on Monday, I just have had so many people reach out within the community to wish me happy birthday. So I just wanted to thank you for wishing me a happy birthday. I appreciate that. But everyone you see here, I finally was able to update this slide. I will say, you guys broke it. Specifically, Nintenja and Puffton and Alchemist. I mean, they were gifted memberships. I gifted a few myself, but just absolutely, this stud group has continued to grow. I think we're up to 150 members. It's so cool to see how this community has grown. And honestly, my priority as to how I grow this channel has always been, what can I do to bring the members more value? What can I do to allow the members to get the most out of this channel? And so we have things going on our server. Definitely check that out if you haven't already. But I just appreciate everyone in the community and everything you guys done. You guys are the bomb. I will say, So Crazy won our action count competition. I think he got something like 283 actions on our last track, which I think was the Piranha Plant Slide RT, which was absolutely insane. Draco is our current reigning champion for our member multiplayer Monday, which we are in the middle of this month. So it's not too late. We only take 2 of your best scores for the month, and we still have 3 more weeks in the month. So if you haven't already, definitely check that out. That's on Mondays at 5:30 Eastern. And then Bobcat actually won our Action Count competition 3 times in a row. So just as an extra pat on the back, put him on there with a 3 next to his name. So there we go. Let's get into the tour, because there's a lot to talk about. There's so much. We have new drivers, new karts. We got all kinds of new stuff. Some unique buffs. So even some changes to the top 10. So let's get into it. First off, the one driver that we probably are focusing in on the most this tour is Toad Astronaut. Our friend Todd here finally got a good skill. He's got Boomerang. You already knew that. I will say, just from the outside looking in, really, most of his tracks aren't really that helpful until you get to there's one level 3 unlock, his level 6 unlocks, and then his level 8 unlock. Everything else seems to be a little weaker. You already got coin box drivers on there. Depending on what's your taste for giant banana drivers, or King Mario, you might actually see this Wii Rainbow Road RT as a good track too. But Ansel, what's your thoughts on the starting coverage for Toad Astronaut?
Yeah, so I mean, like, I think first of all, we're happy that one of the two new drivers, sort of spotlight drivers, have a decent skill. Toadette got dashing, which was, I guess, what a lot of people expected. Fortunately, Toadette Astronaut, or Spode, as I like to call him,
Yes.
got Boomerang, so it looks like he might have some, really top end value going forward. I think it's really nice for the Toad fans in the game. It's been a long time. I mean, we've had the pit crew alts. But I think, was it maybe Penguin Toad was the last high-end Toad ult, which has been
Okay.
2 years ago almost, yeah. I think. I mean, it's been a long... It's funny because at one point he had more ults than Luigi in the game.
Wow.
No, really. It's really... And I remember thinking at that time, I was like, wow, Toad really gets way too much love. Excuse me. And then he disappeared. So it's been a long time waiting. So here's to all the Toad fans that managed to get the thing. No, his starting coverage, I think the main thing you want to look at first is the fact that he's got this Rainbow Road RT, which is a very awful top shelf. If you don't have King Mario at a high level, all the other options are not good.
There are 2 coin boxers on the middle shelf, by the way, so... Yeah, it could be more, but that's not bad. I mean, at least he has 2. There was a couple tracks here recently where there was none. So just to add on to that.
I think the main thing we also need to think about in this tour is that, okay, first of all, no items got both new ranked tracks. No single item in the game got buffed with Wii Rainbow Road and Wii Rainbow Road RT, at least from the returning items. I haven't checked the new items yet, but I think it's the same. Not the case. And we have a lot of older tracks this game. If we look at the tracks in ACR, or the tracks that are eligible to get buffed, basically outside of Boo Lake and Ghost Valley 2 and the new Wii Rainbow Road, everything else is a very old track. I think this track after that is Sheep Island, which is 1.5 years old already. So getting a lot of older tracks as a starting set here isn't necessarily a bad thing, just because there's a lot of options. That being said, he's got 2 of the Wii Rainbow Roads. One of them is a level 8 unlock, and he's got one of the Boo Lake, so that's like pretty okay. So I mean, the starting set of tracks isn't super strong. 2 brand new tracks, 1 newer track, and then 6 older ones. But I think we kind of see that pattern in most of the new items this tour, just because so many of the tracks in ACR are older tracks. Normally I would say yes, it's a bad start, but in this tour I think you have to take it a little bit with a grain of salt, and say, okay, let's wait and see. I think he has potential. We'll see. Boomerang drivers usually do well. There haven't been any new high-end Boomerang drivers who've been total duds. So I think he's a pretty safe investment if you want to go in for him right away. Overlap-wise, he doesn't have a lot of overlap. He starts with the 9 tracks, and he's got 3 overlaps with Rosaline Aurora, Pauline Rose, Mario SNES, Mario Satellaview as the only really notable one, and then Lucky 2 Party Time, also Lucky 7 Driver, and Donkey Kong Jr. SNES, but not a lot of meta overlap. So I would say, in a vacuum, bad start, but in this tour, it's not a bad start, and he has some promise.
Yeah, it does seem that Boomerang drivers keep getting a little easier as more Coinboxer drivers are introduced. So, you know, as he gets new tracks, I mean, it seems to be easier. The grind of having to get the right lobby and then, you know, navigating that has kind of been diluted, especially with the reset button and everything else going on. So I think overall it's a little easier. Now, I know we're all burnt out on Boomerang, but at least Nintendo's made it easier.
I'm not.
I'm glad you're not. I was even talking with Raker, and it looks like he might be making a soft run at top 10 as well. And he loves Boomerang. And I think if you like Boomerang, this is a great tour for All Cup ranking in general, which we'll get to a little bit more here in a little bit. Then we got.
I will say one thing about Toad. If you just go back, if 5 of his 9 tracks, there's maximum of 3 other plus skill drivers. So there is overlap. It's not like he has exclusives. But I mean, you know, look at Blue Lake R. There's only PD Piranha. Look at Wii Rainbow Road RT. There's only 2 drivers there with a plus skill. You know, like a couple of his tracks. Yeah, sure. There's like a bunch, but but he has a lot of tracks where, you know, if you don't have those options, he might be useful for you. So like check your inventory, check your what kind of upgrades he would give you if you take him to level 4 or level 6. You know, you might be surprised.
Yeah, don't get too hung up on his own driver hitbox when you got Boomerang drivers.
Hitbox doesn't matter for Boomerang, yeah.
Exactly. Let's get into Spode's little sister, Toadette Astronaut. Shout out to Snout the Tinker, who's a big Toadette fan. Unfortunately, Toadette's never had great skills and when it comes to coverage, kind of been left behind as well. Looking at her tracks, I mean, I think, you know, as a non-plus skill, and you see a lot of these, any of these plus skills, I mean, you're probably going to be erring on the side of using somebody else. I mean, it's nice to have in the collection, but I mean, Antilev, if we can spend as little time as possible talking about Toadette Astronaut, that'd be fantastic. What's your thoughts, though, on her starting coverage?
She actually has a better start than Toad. She's got 2 Ghost Valleys, 2 Boo Lakes, and 2 Ghost Valleys, 2 Wii Rainbow Roads, and a Boo Lake. 3 Ghost Valley too. So 6 of her 9 tracks are newer tracks. Only 3 of the 9 tracks are older tracks. So actually her start is really strong in terms of like the course value and getting newer tracks. It's just her skill which is keeping her down. And overlap wise, I clicked out of my window. Overlap-wise, she barely has any overlap at all. The only 2 drivers she has 3 overlaps with are PD Piranha Gold and Bowser Me Racing Suit, and everything else is no more than 2 overlaps. So if she had a better skill, she would have one of the strongest starts I've ever seen. But
that's
yeah,
a big if,
it's dashing.
It's a big if.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's a big if. I mean, I agree with you. Unfortunately, it's that skill, man. I don't know.
I would say if you don't, she is definitely a candidate for a new Cat Luigi, Dr. Peach Explorer. You know, if you don't care that much about skill and you just want to have good quality coverage, she has potential there for sure.
Okay, all right. Well, hey, that's as good as it's going to get for a driver with an up plus skill. So, for those Toadette fans, go out and get her. You'll at least be able to use a favorite character and you get the most out of that coverage. Let's go to the purple Me Racing Suit. So this is base points only value in my mind. And when you look at the top shelf, you see all the Coinboxer on every single track. Really, the only one that could help you out if for some reason you wanted to invest in it, the Wii Rainbow RT. It's obviously a top shelf to cover. But honestly, this one, just get the base points and move on. Right,
a lot of overlap. Only 6 starting tracks, 3 overlaps for Satellaview, Lakitu Party Time, 2 overlaps with Pauline Party Time, Meowser, New Larry, Gold King Bob-omb. I mean, he just not good. Not good.
There are much better Miis to invest in. Worth getting once, though, that's for sure. Definitely don't want to get people confused on that.
Looks cool.
Yeah, no, it looks cool. I like the Minnesota Vikings purple there. We got the Pink Toad pit crew with the heart skill. Obviously, I like the heart skill, obviously, for multiplayer and for a variety of other, when we're trying to get up our S plus 8, plus 9, etc. But anytime you have a super, it's tough, man. It's that you can get their base points above what a high-end single cap would be, but you got to invest in it. I know a lot of people are putting those super tickets into their daily select items, but I mean, there are a couple options where it might make sense to to take it up. I think even this SNES Rainbow Road, maybe even Ghost Valley 2 for ranked next week might be a tough one to cover. Might be worth you winning ranked this week and then taking her up if you aren't really focused on the daily selects. But Antilev, what's your thoughts on the Pig Toad Pit Crew?
Yeah, none of the new tracks, and yeah, I mean, it's a super. We don't need to get into analyzing the coverage. It's basically going to be like if you need to use them for a course in ranked, and you've got super tickets to burn and then ion tickets to it. But for now, for me, it's a multiplayer driver. So I'm not super excited about it. I'd still rather use Mario Koala for multiplayer. So.
I mean, I do like for multiplayer. I do like the heart with the small size. So whether it's Koala or her, big fan of using the smaller drivers. Shy Guy Ninja Pink, the not Ninja, the Shy Guy Pink is a popular one as well. Yeah. Let's talk about the Rainbow Taxi. Absolutely love the look, but man, it's a small hitbox. I was looking at the hitbox chart here from Rashid. Shout out to Rashid. It's right around the Circuit Special and the Zucchini. So it's if you didn't like the Tropical Truck, it's actually much smaller than that. Not much smaller, but you got Tropical Truck, you got the P-Wing, you got the Daikon Rocket Carrot Cart, and then you have the Tractor, and then the Circuit Special. So and then underneath that you have that's the Blooper Shuttle, which we'll talk about here in a second. Way down are the taxis. I mean, we're talking about near the Ghost Ride, well below the Hop Rods, etc. So it's a really tiny hitbox for a cart. That's what we go for. So absolutely love the look. It looks like it's got when it comes to coverage though, between the Wii Road and the Remix Rainbow Road 1T, it's got a couple good tracks. But man, that size is just really tiny. What's your thoughts, Antilev, on the Rainbow Taxi?
I've got the Taxi at 71% of relative size to the off-roaders, which are the biggest cars in the game. Just to give you some perspective, 90% is kind of around where Sweet Ride and Flower Cart are, Paintster. 80% is kind of where the Jet Cruisers are, the Kings, Blue 7, the Snow Skimmers. 75% is the quick shaws, so 71% is it's not tiny, but it's pretty small. It's not like I would use this car for multiplayer because it's small and I can avoid hits. But I mean, it's if you're like you said, you're talking about Happy Ride, you're talking about Steel Driver, you're talking about those buses, the Sky High Sunday buses. It's kind of around the same size, so it's definitely you would consider it a small cart. I mean, I would put this in the same class as Jukebox Buggy. If you can live with Jukebox Buggy, you can live with this. Sure. But it would need to get 25 plus tracks. The start's not that good either. Out of the 10 starting tracks, it's got 2 Wii Rainbow Roads and a Ghost Valley 2, and everything else is an older track. It does have RMX Rainbow Road 2RT, which is a lot newer than the other variants of RMX Rainbow Road. But that's still a little bit more than a year old now, so I wouldn't really consider it a new track anymore. So all in all, it looks awesome, but not a particularly impressive start.
I'm with you there. It looks awesome. I can't knock the look, but once you drive it, it's small. We got the Blooper Shuttle. Sorry, go ahead. You're gonna say something?
No, I was going to say it doesn't have a lot of overlap with meta cards. It's got some new overlap with the other new cards. It's got 5 overlaps with the Gold Cheap Charger, 4 with the Lunar Cruiser, 4 with Gold Pumpkin Cart, 4 with Gold Bunny, 4 with Dreamy Egg, 4 with Gold Pipe Frame, and then 3 overlaps with Lightning Streamliner, Paintster, Holiday King, Gold Egg, Cometail. So some pretty significant overlap as well.
Here's the thing. This tour, we have all these Rainbow Roads, and Nintendo does have some of these tracks, not only multiple versions, but come back every so often. Things like Rainbow Roads, like Bowser's Castle, like Donut Plains, some of these, what we're used to in the Super Nintendo, and these will always be a part of the game. So if you want to invest in something that, we'll have these coverages so that when Rainbow Roads come back, you're covered. there are some options this tour. I would stray away from the Rainbow Road Taxi. I'm sorry, the Rainbow Taxi here. I might look into this Blooper Shuttle, slightly bigger, as I was alluding to earlier. Kind of in that Circus Special Zucchini. That's what I was referring to earlier. It's got a kind of a unique look. That's I don't know. It's could get people aroused. But I think overall, like it looks actually pretty cool. It kind of throws the blooper onto the shuttle aspect of it. The hitbox is okay. Ultimately, though, tell us a little bit about its coverage to start.
So first of all, the size is mainly, I would say, driven by its length. It's not a wide cart. It's coming in at 228 units long, which is the same length as like the Kings or like the Ramby runners or something, but like width-wise, it's not super wide. So if you don't, it's not quite a broom, but it is kind of like longer than it is like. I would say the Zucchini is a good comp for this cart. As far as the starting coverage goes, I think it's like a little bit better, but it's still not great. It's got 3 of the new Wii Rainbow Roads, but other than that, it doesn't have any newer tracks. It doesn't have any Boo Lakes. It doesn't have any Ghost Valley 2. So it's like it's all right. It's probably better. The thing is, it does have 2 ranked tracks. So if you need a cart for ranked, like you can invest in it and level it up. But the other tracks are like not that impressive. But then again, like we have to say, like what I said before, like nothing new in this tour is gonna have a really like super strong start just because we have so many old tracks like existing in the ACR. In terms of overlap, it overlaps 5 times with Rainbow Taxi and the Lunar Cruiser. If you have a Lunar Cruiser at a high level this tour, don't buy any of the newer cars and invest in them because it overlaps with everything, but all the new tracks, all the new cars 4 or 5 times. Beyond that, it overlaps with Paintster 3 times, Gold Pumpkin Cart 3 times, Gold Egg 3 times, Cupid Zero 3 times, and a couple of others that are not quite as meta. Yeah, I don't know. It's okay. It's like it's really hard to judge these carts just because we're not getting an abundance of new tracks or newer tracks in the tour.
I think it looks cool though. I think I was hoping this tour to get a nice bigger cart to be able to help me so I can upgrade in that so I don't have to use the Gold Egg. But unfortunately, again, there wasn't quite a bigger cart like I was hoping. So let's talk about the Gold Lunar Cruiser. Obviously, it's a gold cart. We've been bombarded with gold carts. I think we're over. We're a little burnt out on gold carts at this point. But tell us a little bit about the Gold Lunar Cruiser starting coverage.
Yeah, so it probably has the worst start out of everything. It's got 1 Wii U Rainbow Road, which it unlocks at level 8, and everything else is an older track, so that's really bad. Really, it has almost no starting value. Again, 5 overlaps with Lunar Cruiser, 5 overlaps with 3 overlaps rather, with Blazing Eagle, 3 overlaps with Inferno Flyer, 3 overlaps with Gold Train, and 3 overlaps with the Blooper Shuttle. Nothing else to say. This is a Gold Pass gift, I guess, right? Or yeah. It's it's the week 2 ranked gift, but it's not going to be good. You can't even use it this tour because you're not going to get it till the end of week 2 ranked.
Which I don't get that. I guess it's
so annoying. People. I've been out talking to people on Discord, and like I've been getting criticism because people have been saying, "Oh, you're just like positive about everything. You're not willing to criticize Nintendo." Because I like this tour, and I like the last tour. I liked the last tour a lot. We had 6 new tracks. It was great. But this whole thing of like having a different ranked award week 1 or week 2 is horrible, and it's like a real like cynical money grab from Nintendo, where they're like, "We're gonna give you these like good rewards in weeks where it's really hard to like win or place top 3 or whatever in ranked." And the worst thing is we're going to give you an item in ranked which you're not even going to be able to use in this tour at all.
So basically, like it is most valuable. This tour can't even use it. There are 9 tracks you could use it this tour for all cup ranking, whatever times, however many times, and you can't use it. So yeah, it's in theory, Nintendo, you tried. It was a good effort, but doesn't make any sense. Very very odd there for sure. Well, we can move on from that then and move into the gliders. We got the Rainbow Fair Flyer. It looks awesome. So we got 2 commemorative items this tour, both rainbow-ish flavored there. I actually like it. Obviously got Bullet Bill as his plus skill, which obviously we're a big fan of. Looks pretty sick. The Fair Flyers have never been great per se, so typically we've seen one in a family do well. I'm a little bit more bullish on the Rainbow Fair Flyer, but tell me why I'm crazy here, Antilev. What's your thoughts on starting coverage?
No, I kind of agree with you. First of all, it looks awesome. It has a good item for a glider. 9 starting tracks. 4 of them are new tracks, so 2 Wee Rainbow Roads and 2 Ghost Valleys. So good value. And then it's got Twilight House. It's got a battle course, which if you already have it covered isn't useful for you. But if you don't have it at a super high level or whatever, battle courses are extremely valuable because they're in basically every an individual battle course that isn't the New York battle course has a 2/3 chance of appearing twice in every tour. Wow. So that's a really valuable buff. I think that's a really strong start. Overlap wise, we're looking at 4 overlaps with the 8-bit Fire Flower. So that would be my biggest worry. If you have 8-bit Fire Flower at a high level, it might not be so interesting. Silver Candlelight Flight 3 times, Vampire Wings 3 times, Pink Gold Meteors 3 times, Dry Bowser Umbrella 3 times, and Black Cat Parafoil 3 times. So those are some pretty meta gliders that it overlaps with. So have a look at your own coverage. If you're seeing a lot of overlap with that glider, maybe not so interesting for you. But I mean, outside of the overlap, I think is a pretty strong start.
Yeah, for sure. Agree there. Let's talk about the Gold Meteors and its overlap. Obviously, it's a gold dipped version of the other meteors we've had. I mean, outside of the lava rocks, I'm not a big fan of the meteors in general, just the look. But this one starts out with a good number of tracks with 10. What's your thoughts on its starting coverage, though?
Yeah, quantity, not quality. It's got one 2022 track, which is Ghost Valley 2, and the rest are older tracks. It's got Twilight House as well, but that's basically saying 2 out of its 10 starting tracks are decent, and the rest are kind of older tracks. I don't like the start, and does have a lot of overlap as well. 4 overlaps with the Sunset Balloons, 3 overlaps with Vanilla Chocolate Balloons, Pink Gold Meteors, Nabbit Oil, Paper Umbrella, Meteor Balloons, Glinting Glider, Galaxy Glider, 8-bit Fire Flower, all 3 overlaps with those. So and there's even a couple I didn't mention that are a little bit less meta. If you're going to pick a glider to go for this tour, I would say the Rainbow Fair Flyer is clearly the better choice.
Yeah, I can't argue with that. That's for sure. Good. No, that makes me feel a little better. Makes me feel a little better about my thought process on just that Fair Flyer looks pretty cool, and getting 3 times to take it to level 3 might make sense, especially if you're a newer player, you don't have something for Twilight House. Let's before we get to the top 10, sorry about that. Let's talk about just briefly the daily spotlight pool. There is a video of what I recorded on Wednesday. I always am giving myself the right to make any changes afterwards based on what I see from Antilev. But I was most excited about the gliders, and you can go back and watch that video. So I'll kind of breeze through this. I put 12 gliders on here that I considered worth looking into and doing the research on your account. 10 for the karts, 8 for the drivers. Not as big of a fan for the drivers, but ultimately I will say, just because I was so focused on the gliders, I'll talk just briefly about those. One couple of these, Black Red Sail, great, especially for Twilight House. If you were a newer player, you did not get that. That was the number 1 glider of last year. 8-bit Fire Flower, a strong glider as well, for obvious reasons, or really over the last 2 years. And then we have the Candlelight Flight, really strong, had a great beginning of the year. Secure Origami Glider, we'll talk about that a lot this episode, but it's crushing right now. The spicy take I had was this cream toe beam balloons, especially if you are part of the Banana Republic. Might be worth looking into using a Banana Plus glider in addition. It's actually got some pretty sneaky good coverage. Green Cap Airfoil been really good. Icy Mario Mustache, I've had this on here for the last 2 or 3 tours, and it's crushing. It's now in the top 10.
That was a great prediction, by the way. It just jumped up big.
I don't know. You try to get a good feel for it. Some I don't hit all of them, but that was certainly one that I like to give myself credit for it. The Mario hat, I kind of held back on putting either one of these hats. I know some were fans of the Luigi, some were fans of the Mario. I just didn't want to get in between the fight, so I didn't put any on here. But now it's a top 10 item, so I had to have that included. Wonderful Wings, no description needed. It's the #1 glider of 2022. And then Piranha Plant Balloons, been really, really strong. I might even throw some tickets on it. Here I have it at level 4 just from pulling it back in that Piranha Pipes tour. Then we got the, again, kind of the 1-2 pairing with the Black Star Chute and the Boom Masks, which I did take my Black Star Chute to 7,595. I don't have the Boom Masks, but really, I mean, if you like both of them, don't get both of them. Just get one. Ride that horse as long as you can. So I just kind of want to mainly point out the gliders just because I was so focused on them. But what's your thoughts, Antilev? Anything you would have changed here?
No, I mean, the thing is that there's so many good gliders in the game, and you know, there's a few here which are like kind of just outside the top 15, and I'm looking at like the Silver Candlelight Flight, and I'm looking at like the Luigi's Hat Balloon, and they're quality gliders for sure. We have a lot of gliders in the game, and these are good ones, but you can't put everything in there. A Chocolate Pretzel, it's not like super high ranked, but rated in the model. But I mean, it's been in ranked and saving people's butts on
liked it early,
difficult track. Yeah, but I mean, but I mean, you already got what 10, 12 gliders
12,
here.
yeah.
I mean, you can't. Yeah, 12 gliders. You can't pick everything. So I mean, I think you did a good job.
Some of the ones that kind of were first out were obviously that Black Chocolate Pretzel, the Silver Candlelight Flight. There were a couple of those that I just had to pass on that were a little tougher. Even Black Cat Parafoil. I will say I did make one change based on what I said. I was going back and forth between throwing my Studfit Ruby logo on either the Swift Talon or the Blazing Eagle. I did switch it from the Swift Talon to the Blazing Eagle. I kind of liked the buff that the Swift Talon had, getting the week 1 Wii Rainbow Road over getting the Wii Rainbow Road RT that the Blazing Eagle went into. But we'll get a little bit more into that. I did switch it though, just based on, I think the algorithm helped me out a little bit. But I like both of them. I know they came out of a city tour and had a really tough start, but they got a giant hitbox, and I don't know, they've been getting some good buffs here lately, and high quantity and some decent quality too. So
I feel like the model, the top 10 rankings, is less to tell you what to do and more to give you reassurance. If you already have an idea,
100%.
like, hey, I like this item, it's good for my account, you go and you look up, hey, this is a top 25 item. Okay, that makes me feel a little bit more secure about putting my tickets into it, spending my hard-earned tickets on it. You know, it's not necessarily something I think you should look and be like, oh, I'm just going to invest in these items that are at the top, like because you know it's personal for your account. Yeah. So I think you got it absolutely right. You know, looking at this, you know, in the past I would say like the Magma Broom should be on there, but it's a broom. But the Jukebox, I mean, we've got a lot of former great items, but they're just not that new anymore. Jukebox Buggy, Tanuki Cart. But you know, I think you kind of nailed it. I will say something about these Eagle carts, like the Blazing Eagle is a top 25 cart. This tour made a huge jump, and the Swift Talent made a huge jump as well. It didn't get quite as high, but they still have a very low number of tracks. They're being driven by like the quality of their tracks, not the quantity. I would say the cart selection in this tour is not very good. I mean, if we look at the top 10, there's not a lot of the top 10 like represented here. Yeah. Whereas, I mean, we've got the Red Off-Roader, we've got the Lightning Streamliner, we've got the, well, Tropical Tropa is not even in the top 10 anymore. You know, we don't have the Yellow Off-Roader, we don't have the Shielded Speedster, we don't have the Moo Off-Roader, we don't have the Flowery Badwagon. The quality here is not as good as it was. So I would say this is a tour where you maybe even want to just, you know, give a miss on the carts, unless you're going for a newer one.
No, I totally agree with that. You know, and I think just to kind of put just the bow on the Swift Talon Blazing Eagle, there's no pressure to take it to level 6, to take it to level 8, because all those tracks are city tracks. So there's, again, if you need to take it to level 4 just for ranked or something, just know that there's no pressure to take it to 6 to get those unlocks.
For sure.
So there you go. Cool. Let's talk about those buffs because we got some unique buffs. So it wasn't the highest quantity, but as you mentioned earlier, there were so many old tracks that came back that all these new drivers, especially some of the newer top skill drivers, got some big buffs. I will say Larry Wintertime, a pretty big winner this tour, just in how many tracks he got. Now here's the thing. So, we're trying to always read the tea leaves, trying to read between the lines as to what Nintendo is trying to do. And I do think that they see that people are hesitant to invest in Larry because he's a smaller hitbox, coinbox driver. And because of that, I almost feel like they're gonna overcompensate. They are gonna give him a number of great tracks, make it so enticing, pulling those heartstrings, make it so tempting. And then they're going to give us, then all of his tracks are going to be overflowed with bigger hitbox drivers, coinbox drivers, etc. So, I mean, that's what they're going to do. I mean, they're going to make this the most excruciating, tempting decision every single week for probably the next month and a half. Like, they're going to make Larry Wintertime look like the best driver in the game ever. And then all of a sudden, he's going to just slowly lose tracks to these giant hitbox drivers. So again, if you want to be able to run while he's hot, go for it. I mean, he's got some great buffs this tour. He's got plenty of ranked usage. He's really honestly crushing it. You just know that the shelf life of how awesome he's going to be will probably be for the next 4 months or so, and then it's going to be kind of like Yoshi Goldegg. Like, do you really want to use Yoshi Goldegg right now? All of his tracks are being used by, covered by Mii's with larger hitboxes like Meowser, like PD Gold, etc. So, Gold Charging Chuck. I think he's going to probably follow the same exact pattern, that Gold Yoshi's going to follow. That's kind of my way to help you make that decision because it's going to be so tough.
I think it's a really good assessment, and I'm gonna give you like the example with my two accounts. Like my main account, I never invested in Yoshi Goldegg just because I kind of never needed it, and now that we're a year later, I'm happy I didn't spend those tickets. On the other hand, my free-to-play account, he carried my account all year. I got him to level 6 early on, back in that tour where Blockhead was a ranked award, and I leveled him up from 1 to 6 right away just to get that, Coinbox Mii suit. And honestly, I'm using him a ton this tour. But if I didn't have him already at level 6, I wouldn't invest in him now. I mean, so Larry will probably be the same way on your account. If you invest in him now, enjoy it, ride the wave, and you'll be using him later. And there'll be times where you're like, have to use him instead of a medium or a heavy. But like, I got him at a high level, and those ones I got like level 1 or 2 or whatever. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. I would say, make sure you try to pair him with a big cart. Like a small hitbox coinbox driver with like an off-roader, it's fine. It's okay. It's when you get a light driver with a small cart that you really run into trouble. And people who are doing, like the Airship Fortress with Gold Bone, I think it's the Airship Fortress or Ghost Valley or something, is one where you've got like gold bones. Yeah. I think it's RMX Ghost Valley R. You've got Gold Bones and like Head Honcho or something, and it is an absolute nightmare. I'm
just asking people that were doing Baby Park R2 last tour. Yeah, it's going to be tough. But here's the thing: is we are going to have people shouting on the rooftops in early February saying, Larry Wintertime, he's the best driver of all Nintendo, of all Mario Kart Tour. And you know what? They're going to be right. But we're going to look at those people in June and say, you know what? I still won ranked. I got through it, and I didn't have to invest in it. I'm glad I didn't. So again, if you want to win ranked, and you're not worried about it, go ahead and invest in him. He's gonna do great. He's gonna do awesome. He honestly is gonna get great coverage, probably because he's a smaller hitbox. Just you're gonna have to invest in someone later on, which is how the game works anyway. We're always kind of trying to play catch up with the newer tracks anyway. So hey, if you like his design, you like his flair, go for it.
We also don't know. We don't know how Nintendo treats. So we don't know that Nintendo gives more. This is the first light Coinbox driver we've had since Gold Bones. It's been 3 years. We don't know. We think Nintendo gives cities higher weightings than we do in our model, right? So it might be the same with light Coinbox drivers. They might not see it as a difference.
Yeah, that's true. I have had a lot of people ask me about him versus the Santa Mii racing suit. For good reason. And I kind of remarked with, hey, if you want to win the next win ranked next few tours, you're trying to get to tier 80, go with Larry Wintertime. I think though the Santa Me suit, I think was, if we were to sit in the same exact seat January 2024, I think we'd actually probably be maybe happier with the Santa Me racing suit, and especially with all those base points wherever they're at next year, could be pretty insane. And so myself, I had to weigh this out. I decided to go with Santa Me racing suit. I took it all the way up, so it's
nice.
8 triple. Yeah, it's
nice.
It's the only other Me suit that I have at level 8, other than the 2 coin box driver. So, I'm riding it out. I know I've not been a big fan of winter Christmas items, but I do like these tracks, and I'm going to ride it out. So we'll see what happens. I believe more in the meta of the Me suits than I'm worried about any type of winter curse. Winter curse is going to hit it eventually. I do believe that, but the power of the Me's, guys, is just too strong right now. And it's only going to get crazier as we go on. So that was just Larry Wintertime. Let's get to Luigi Knight, who gets the 3DS Bowser's Rainbow Road T, the remix Rainbow Road 1, and then Rainbow Road R. None of these are in ranked, so unfortunately. You got 2 ranked, though, on the other Luigi, Kitsune, who I think a lot of people are forgetting even exists in the game. He's got the Boo Lake T and then the Ghost Valley 2. So again, the 2 tracks that are not Rainbow Road in ranked, interesting there. And then Luigi's Chef. So a lot of Luigi big buffs here. His Rainbow Road RT is in ranked. Then you got 2 Me racing suits. The Mumumi, he's got the Rainbow Road 2 RT that's in ranked, and it also is at a small discount. So if you don't have it, good one to get. I guess now mine's at level 3, because of getting it ranked twice and getting it on the discount. Who knows? One day we might be using it. I seriously contemplated it with Donut Plains 3 RT last tour. Then let's get into drivers with 2 buffs. Of course, we got Daisy Tie Dress, kind of following her usual trend, which is getting buffs that are in ranked. She's been continuing to get buffs, but the Rainbow Road R is not necessary. You probably got some other options there, and Calamari Desert 2R may not be a great track either. So I wouldn't consider, for someone who was riding really strong this year, this is a little bit of a bump in the road, but she's still super strong. As you can see, she's our number 1 driver in the game. Cat Luigi, been a coverage sneaky king here. He's got the Rainbow Road RT. It's actually crazy how good his coverage is. But again, not a plus skill there. He was on the Spotlight shop, the only non-plus skill driver that I included. Then, the rest of it, as we kind of talked about, maybe not as eventful. The Santa Me obviously getting 2 ranked buffs. That's awesome, guys. When you get 2 buffs and they're both in ranked, you're only, especially for these Moose suits, you only have a certain amount of buffs that you're going to get. So to have them both in ranked, one of them being one of the new tracks, that's phenomenal there. Good. Excellent. What's your thoughts on the big buff drivers?
You mainly touched the points I want to do. Like Santa Me Racing Suit, I really want it to be good. I bought it, and I bought it on my free-to-play account too, which is I don't very often buy Me suits on my free-to-play account, but it's got a plus skill, and the King Boo Me suit has done such a great job for me this year on that account. I really want it to be good. I'm gonna need to see a little bit more in terms of coverage. It's still only 7 assumed tracks, but yeah, if you want to take a gamble, for the long term, a Me suit, especially one with a plus skill, is never going to be bad because of those base points, especially if you have a decent collection of Miis. And it's in 2 ranked tracks, so feel free to invest, but it is the gamble. Who knows? We were talking about Larry. He did get the great buffs. He's the only driver who got buffed on 2 Wii Rainbow Roads, and we're not talking about the ranked ones or anything, just 2 Wii Rainbow Roads in general. Looking at Ty Daisy, she did get 2 older tracks as buffs, but she's at the point where her quality of tracks is so good that she just kind of needs to accumulate more tracks, so her piling up a couple of older retros, it helps her, obviously it would be better if she would get a new track, but she doesn't really need that to stay top. And I was making this point on my Discord with some people. It's 3DS Rainbow Road R, the options there are Party Time Pauline, Vacation Peach with a level 6 unlock, and that's basically it for Coinbox Driver. So
If you're a newer player, yeah, I see that being really
if you're a newer player and those are your options, which one are you going to invest in? Like, I'll definitely. I mean, so it's not it. Like for my free to play account, I was using a level 3 like gold dry browser there. I think before this tour, before she got this buff. So for me, it's actually like a really good buff. So for if you ever get a pretty advanced account, yeah, you've got the covered. It's a useless buff, but I mean, in the model, a buff like that does add value. I mean, maybe it doesn't add, maybe it adds a quarter of the value as like Mario King getting buffed on a new rank track or whatever, like he did, which is also an exclusive, sure, but it adds some value, and that's what's keeping her number one. She's got 27 tracks. That's a lot of tracks for a Coinbox driver.
Yeah, that's a great point. Good. Let's round out the rest of the drivers with buffs. Obviously, Gold Charging Chuck getting a nice ranked Wii Rainbow Road. That's a awesome track for him.
Very good buff, yeah.
Great buff. Pink Shy Guy Ninja got the Wii Rainbow Road R, so it's the one of the two that are not in ranked, but he's up to 27 assumed tracks, 12 cities at number 8 on our list. Got PD Prada Gold, although he's in ranked week 2. He is his buff is not in ranked. This is the Rainbow Road 2R, a 2021 track, not necessarily a great buff for him right now. That's okay though. It'll get better. And then we have the White Tanuki Mario getting the Cheap Lagoon T. It's not a bad Giant Banana track, so you kind of like that, but it's an older track. It's 2019, and honestly, there's some other options there. It's okay. I think out of all the old tracks for him to get, that's not a bad one for him. I think a lot of people hate that track, so maybe people will finally enjoy it with Giant Banana. Then you got Mario King. It's in ranked, and that ranked top shelf is one of the toughest driver top shelves this tour, especially out of all the ranked tracks. It's pretty brutal. So Mario King, I think some people might actually finally have to invest in him. It's going to be better than the Giant Banana through the yellow Me Racing suit in most cases, because you can't go through it a second lap with the Giant Bananas, which is really the key of the Giant Bananas. You have, lay all these Giant Bananas behind you, and then people have to go through it, 2 laps, or sometimes in the case of Baby Park T with Pink Shy Guy Ninja, 3 times. So ultimately, this is not a bad, this is a pretty good buff for King Mario. We'll see what the rest of his 2023 looks like, but maybe he's finally making a resurgence. Then we got PD Piranha Me Racing suit with the Rainbow Road 2T. Again, for a Me suit, you're happy to get that buff. He's up to 17 assumed tracks and 3 cities, which is pretty good. He's number 13 on our list, one of the higher Me suits that are not Coinbox. And then we have Rosalina Chef getting Wii Rainbow Road. That's a huge buff for her. Now again, between the two Wii roads, that one you might have covered between, Larry Wintertime and Santa Me and some other top skill drivers, Gold Charging Chuck. So, you might have some better options. You would have probably preferred the Rainbow Road RT, but still, I mean, you're getting to use her in rank. She's actually pretty sneaky considering the fact that she came out in an all-city tour. So if you look at all of her tracks, I mean, she's up to 38, which is insane, but 17 of those are cities. So you got to take it with a grain of salt. And then I'll kind of skim through the rest. Shy Guy Ninja got the Rainbow Road T, which is actually pretty good boomerang track for him. You got the Silver Me Racing suit, got the Rainbow Road T, which it's been a while since he's been relevant, but that's a nice buff for him. And that's about all I'll talk about. So what's your thoughts on the rest of the drivers there, Antilev?
I think the Mario Stelvio getting, I know he's like the feature driver of the tour or whatever, sort of, sure, but him getting the Wii Rainbow Road is like a really nice buff. It's nice to see him,
that's true.
Getting, we've got a couple of like older drivers that got buffed in this tour, which is nice. Talking about the Mario King buff, the Wii Rainbow Road RT, like that is finally for him. This is the most valuable buff of the tour, and it's not even close. Like I've got the top 5 most valuable buffs, and this buff of his is almost 50% more valuable than the next best buff, which is Yellow Me Racing suit on the same course. It's because it's the Coinbox exclusive for him on a new rank track, which is also an RT, which is our highest rated type of track. So it's a really amazing buff for him. Mario King is in a really difficult place. And I kind of predicted this when he came out. It was like, even if he was going to end up being quality, his buffing arc was going to be like later on, just because of the bad start. I mean, you look at, he's got a lot of exclusives. Okay, he's got, so we're including like I think a Marymount in there because we include those as retro tracks now. But he's only got 14 assumed tracks, but he has 8 exclusives. So he's got a low volume of like retro tracks, but he's got like a pretty high quality. It's still like really difficult. I think this tour is going to make the decision for a lot of people who have them and have been waiting to invest in him. And if you need him for ranked, but at the same time, you got the other new driver. You got the yellow me suit, which I think is pretty mediocre, to be honest. I don't think it's a good option. Only 8 assumed tracks rather. But you have the new Toad astronaut, and this might be a better track for Boomerang than, or at least equivalent track for Boomerang than Coinbox. So I think if you can survive, investing in one of the other drivers this week, I don't know. This might be like Mario King's high point, and if that's the case, it's not a very good high point. But we'll see. I mean, he is getting better. He's knocking on the door of the top 10. We'll see. He's still struggling to kind of overcome that all city start. And he seems to get these kind of head scratch. Like, this is a really good buff for him, but he only got 1. And then last year where he got like Mario Circuit RT, which was like, why even bother? Come on. Looking at the other buffs, not the Charging Chuck Gold buff is great. He's got a new rank buff. There's a reason he's number 3, but 24 tracks already, which is a lot for a big Coinbox driver. It's relatively new. And then it's nice to see drivers like Pink Shy Guy, Rosalie and Folandom, drivers which have been kind of the stars of 2022, White Tanuki Mario as well, just getting a new decent buff. I don't know. This is the buffs are pretty spread out here. We have a lot of buffs this tour, 243 buffs total, but it's not like any individual driver has got crazy added value.
Yeah, I'm with you there. Well, good. All right, let's move into the carts. Obviously, the biggest buff, walking away with the most buffs, would be the Swift Town, Taylor Swift. Unfortunately, only one of those tracks are ranked, but 2 Wii roads, the reverse and the regular. And then, got some other tracks. The Cheap Cheap Island, obviously, you have the Yellow Off-Roader, and Cheap Cheap Lagoon might be a good option there for you. Again, it's got 11 assumed tracks, which is not a lot. So I think that's always kind of the caveat with any of these items that came out on a city track. And then carts with 3 buffs, obviously the Moo Off-Roader, 19 assumed tracks, 1 city, guys. So 20 tracks, and only one of those is a city. Absolutely insane.
Amazing.
Like, guys,
amazing.
I don't know.
And it's like pretty new still. It's like really new.
It's still really new and crushing it. It's
which tour did it come out in? Let me check how many tracks it has left to see.
Right?
Which one?
The Animal Tour.
The Animal Tour? Okay, hang on a sec. I'm gonna go check how many tracks it had left to see.
We can get to it when we get to the top 10 as well. We have
125 tracks left to see. 125.
It's insane. Guys,
that's insane.
If you need a car for next week, please invest in the Moo Off-Roader. It will pay dividends, I promise you. To round things out, though, the Ice Cream Minibus got 3 buffs, none of which are ranked. Pink Speeder, it's fine. It's number 11 on our list, though, so it's been climbing. But none of these buffs are in ranked. You're really happy with the Wii Rainbow Road R. It's a good track there, but again, it's not in ranked. So I think out of any of the speeders, this one's doing pretty well. I'm still not buying it yet. We'll get to the top 10 maybe, and you can add some caveats there, but I'm still hesitant, man. Maybe it's because of the hitbox. Maybe it's because there's.
It's because of the hitbox. If that was Vampire Flyer size, you'd be all over it.
It's not in ranked, man. Vampire Flyer was a ranked king back in the day. That's actually why it was so good for such a short period of time, and why it fell off so quickly is because it was literally in ranked like every other week for 3 months, and then all of a sudden it just died. So this Pink Speeder, it's got a different angle. It's I think the exact opposite. It's getting some good buffs. It's getting a lot of high quantity buffs. But it's not ranked. It's not ranked at all. So I don't know. We'll see what happens to it. I'm hoping, because I like Pink. You know me. I'll totally invest in this. I would be happy to invest in this. And I don't even mind smaller carts. It's a little smaller for my taste and my preference. I don't know. I'm just not buying it. Let's go to the Blazing Eagle though, because this one I'm buying a little bit more. 11 assumed tracks, 11 cities, So 22 tracks, half of them are assumed, but does have the rank buff, and it was a commemorative. I believe this was a commemorative item, right? The Blazing Eagle. Which I
don't remember which one was which. One of them was commemorative, one was...
So I think that tends to kind of have like a slight hair above better value. And then the Purple Dozo. I think the Purple Dozo absolutely crushed it this tour. Between obviously you got this the Ghost Valley too. For whatever reason, we got some ghost, Halloween related themed between this and between the Ghost Valley and Boo Lake and Twilight House. For whatever reason, Purple Dozo though got absolutely no Rainbow Road buff. So for what it's worth, you got some older stuff and some newer stuff, but ultimately, actually, I think all three of them are technically new tracks, but newer tracks like 2022. But
recent tracks,
but not any from this tour. So it's interesting though. I absolutely love the look of it. I think it looks really cool. A pretty big jump though. I mean, for a newer cart like this to get to number 25. That's massive, and I know some of my friends who went for top 10 last tour. I think like Rashid and top 100 invested pretty heavily in the Pink Dozer, and this is a positive sign for its trajectory. We'll see. I think it could get into the top 10. We got the Camo Tanuki cart, 16 assumed tracks, 2 cities, kind of having a very similar allergy to the city, similar to its brother. It does get the Ghost Valley too, which is a ranked track that's a really strong one. And then the brother to the Pink Speeder, the Blue Speeder, number 77 on our list. Even though basically kind of the same buffs, like no ranked buffs, Rainbow Road, old stuff. But one of them's doing well, one of them's not. I'm excited to hear what you have to say. Then we got the carts with 2 buffs, obviously at the top of that list. The Algorithm Prodigy here, this Shield Speedster at number 2 on our list. Although both of its tracks are not in rank. So I think, you're really happy to get the Wii Rainbow Road R for those who are doing all cup ranking, being able to see that a couple times. But, this is not necessarily a tour that's going to catapult it back into the number 1, even with the Yellow Off-Roader not getting any buffs. Yeah. So that's, it is what it is. It's got a great hitbox. It's got great coverage, but this tour didn't catapult it back into number 1. Flower Bandwagon, no ranked tracks, but two fine buffs. The Rainbow Road T, you gotta love that. Then Red Off-Roader, got one good buff there with the Rainbow Road R. It's number 7 on our list. Strawberry Soft Swerve, back in our top 10, thanks to the Wii Road R. Gotta like that. Then the Green Crack Cruiser at number 18 with the Wii Road R. Chocolate Minibus, Watermelon Cart, Pink Sneaker, and then probably something else that I'll probably save us some time and skip over. Gold, get some stuff at the end. You'll notice that that bottom row's got a lot of gold stuff. The bottom row being the highest number on the algorithm list. So, Antilev, tell me tell us a little bit more about these carts that got the big buffs, and maybe you start with the Pink Speeder. Why is Pink Speeder number 11?
It got really good buffs, right? It got 2 of it got a Wii Rainbow Road R, and it got 3 buffs in general. It's like relatively new, and it has like a decent amount of tracks. There's nothing else to it. And it has been ranked. I think you basically hit every point I wanted to talk about. Only thing I want to mention, Swift Talon and Blazing Eagle are the only 2 carts to get buffed on multiple Wii Rainbow Roads. No other cart got more than 1. Wow. I just think that was interesting. I think they're Nintendo understanding a little bit how difficult an all-city start is to overcome, and they're trying to kind of compensate for that a bit. But other than that, Moo Moo Off-Roader, there's a good chance when we're talking about the award ceremony at the end of the year, Moo Moo Off-Roader is going to be, honestly, it came out at the right time. It started hot and fast, and it's let's see when it comes back so people can get it if they didn't pick it up the first time round. Other than that, not really anything to mention. The cart buffs weren't really. The Ice Cream Minibus, they did pretty well with buffs, but 3 buffs, and one of them being the new track. Pretty good value there, but otherwise I don't think there's a really whole lot more to add to what you said.
Honestly, I feel bad for the free-to-play players because they didn't get access to this Moo off-roader.
No, it sucks.
It is crazy good. My one thought about, though, the award ceremony to you is that sometimes there's a recency bias with the award ceremony. Like, if we think about how last year the Candlelight Flight was so strong, and it didn't get very many votes for it. I mean, obviously the Wonderful Wings had a great year as well, but I mean, there was.
Yellow Off-Roader came out in like October or something, right? Like in 2021. It wasn't even a 2020.
Yeah, no, you're 100% right. And by the way, just to let you know, one of my, not necessarily New Year's resolutions, but one of my commitments in 2023 is to just be better prepared for this rundown. So I'm hoping I can steal all your thunder from every single slide. That's the goal. And honestly, that's thanks to Alberto. So Alberto...
I got nothing.
Honestly, Alberto, he's been helping us out with putting together a slide deck. So he helped tremendously, put about 10 hours this tour to putting together these slides. And because he's doing that, that allows me to be freed up to be able to be more knowledgeable coming into every rundown. That allows me to be able to be better prepared. So that's, again, my commitment to you is to be better prepared. And that is thanks to Alberto. So thank you, Alberto. If you see in the chat, thank Alberto. Appreciate all the work that he is doing. We got Karts with 1 buff. We got Streetle. Obviously, it's got... a little more controversial. I got a cheap Lagoon T buff. Not a good buff, but it still has 20 assumed tracks. Number 4 on our list, but that's not a good buff there. Blue-green capsule cart gets a phenomenal buff. The Rainbow Road RT. This one's surging at the right time. 23 assumed tracks, 9 cities. Armored Rider, one of the top carts from this past year, gets an awesome ranked buff. I saw Carlos take this bad boy up. It's got a great hitbox, pairs well with all kinds of stuff. Guys, if you have to make an investment and you're worried about it having old coverage, don't worry about that, guys. It's got 24 assumed tracks, only 4 cities. It's a really, really strong card. I know it says number 16 on our list, but it pairs so well. It's got a great hitbox, so many great tracks. It did, kind of come out in a Ninja Tour, so there's a lot of those Nitro tracks that it's got tied up in. But guys, it's a great cart. Don't be afraid to invest in it if you have to. Coral Jet Cruiser, strong cart still too. 9 cities, 20 assumed tracks. But the Cheap Island T, I mean, most likely people are using this yellow off-roader. Which, by the way, I love that the yellow off-roader has all the cheap islands. That's a personal... If
you've never heard him say it before.
Now you have. Well, I'm probably having a drinking game on how many times I mentioned the yellow off-roader. It's guys, I absolutely love the off-roader and the Shiv Speedster. Those are 2 like meta carts that are crushing it right now. I'm trying to find like do a meta cart trifecta of this year, and I feel like it's got to have the Shield Speeder and yellow off-roader in it. We'll look out for that video to come. Let's go with the Sleigh Rider. Got a ranked Rainbow Road. Black Carriage got the Rainbow Road RT. Lunar Cruiser, an older cart, got the Rainbow Road RT. If you already had it and you kind of pulled it, again, this was back when we were pulling pipes, so maybe you pulled it up to level 4, level 5. If you have to throw tickets on, not a bad thing. Cream B Dasher Mark II got the Wii Rainbow Road RT. Again, it's kind of get scared off with this 109. These all these B Dasher Mark II variants came out in a city tour. So you see there 15 assumed tracks, very low number. That's because it's got 14 cities, which is an extremely high number. And then classic B Dasher, fortunately, even worse there. Anything you want to add here, Antilev?
Nah, not really.
All right, we'll go to the gliders then. This one's a lot less cluttered. We have the Icy Mario's mustache. We already talked about it, kind of surging between all the mustaches. It got the Wii Rainbow Road, the ranked track, but you're really happy with some of its buffs. I mean, it's got some older ones, but it's got 21 assumed tracks, 11 cities, which is pretty good for a relatively newer glider. We'll see what happens to it. I will say, having the green shell, I'm not a big green shell glider fan, so just take that into account. That's not necessarily going to help you get coin frenzies or help you get some of these plate skills that you're going to use places 1 through 4, but it's got great coverage, which is pretty common for a lot of these green shell gliders. And then we have the wonderful Garnet, got the Rainbow Road Wii version. Tulip Corsage, yeah, it's number 21. Yeah, it did get 3 buffs, but none of these are in ranked. I know that some people are Tulip Corsage fans just because it's been getting kind of sneaky buffs. But I don't really like any of those. I don't really like any of these buffs. It does have the Wii Rainbow Road T. I don't know. I'm not a Tulip fan. You can let me know. It did come out, I think, in your Amsterdam tour, so maybe you're a little bit more.
Metropolitan was a little bit later. I mean, the thing about Tulip Corsage is it suffers from the all city start curse, where it has gotten up to a respectable number of tracks.
Yeah.
But like its buff arc was set back by like a month or two because of the all city start, so like it doesn't have the normal buff curve. By the time it gets to the level of like where other gliders start, you're already 2 months down the line, you know.
I mean, it does have 40 total tracks.
Yeah, it's 20 good now, cities. But like you missed the window to invest in it when it was in ranked all the time. I mean, it's been in ranked a lot, but then it had like 7 tracks, you know, like
it's tough one.
Yeah.
Good. Parapanini, no rank tracks there. Calico Tobeam Balloons. Did get the Wii Rainbow Road R. Autumn Leaves. I was hoping this one was going to do better. Unfortunately, I mean, it came out in that tour after the Autumn tour, which is hilarious. But yeah, I mean, it's honestly not been that great. Festivali does get the Wii Rainbow Road RT. I'm not a big fan of the Festivali though myself. Yellow Hard Hat, though, although it's 61, it did get the Ghost Valley 2. A little bit more optimistic on the Yellow Hard Hat, even though it's number 61. It's brand new, so I can see that going up. Gliders with 2 buffs, mint and berry balloons, and vanilla and chocolate balloons. So if you like ice cream, you're really happy with the gliders with 2 buffs. Both of them, though not in rank, though. 24 assumed tracks for mint and berry, and 25 for vanilla and chocolate. Got the Mario's Hat Balloon, which we already referred to earlier. Got the Rainbow Road. It's number 9 on our list. 22 assumed tracks, 8 cities. Pretty strong there for the Mario's Hat. Kind of skimming through. Gold Hard Hat did get the Remix Rainbow Road 2 RT, which you're using in ranked this week 1. It's a pretty cool glider, but again, it's so new, it's hard to tell. If you need to invest in one, it's an older. I mean, again, if you're a newer player, you don't have any of those gliders at a high level. Not a bad one to invest in for ranked, but if you're an established player, you probably have better options. May not want to invest in it right now. But Ansel, what's your thoughts on the gliders with the most buffs?
No, I think you pretty much hit them all. This is a tour with a lot of buffs for old tracks, not so many buffs for newer tracks. The only glider that had 2 Wii Rainbow Road buffs is Wonderful Garnet. And no, that's it. Wonderful Garnet only.
There you go.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, I mean, like, nothing got, like, huge crazy value this tour.
What's your thoughts on the Wonderful Garnet? Because it seems to get, like, a high quantity of buffs every single tour. I mean, it's already up to 16 assumed tracks.
I don't know. I mean, like, it's one of those ones where I was like, okay, this is probably gonna... It's kind of like Wicked Topaz, you know, where you, like... which makes sense, because they're, like, you know, brother and sister or whatever. Like, it has a decent amount of tracks, and it's just kind of, like... acceptable. I don't really know how better to say it. It's not blowing me away, you know, but it is hanging around. I want it to be good, but
okay,
yeah,
that's still kind of a wait and see mode for you, maybe.
I feel like it's going to be wait and see. It's with the Wicked Topaz. I had it marked down as one to invest in once, you know, on both accounts. And the moment to invest never came along, you know? So, like, I'm kind of worried it's going to be the same with this one.
All right. We'll keep an eye out for it. Talk about the other gliders with 1 buff. We'll start with the Secure Origami Glider. 9 cities, 27 assumed tracks, guys. That's 36 total tracks. And it gets us Wii Rainbow Road RT, which is, I think, arguably the hardest glider top shelf to cover. So yeah. I think I might have to invest in it, to be honest with you, next week, because it's really, really strong. It's the number 1 glider in the game right now. I mean, really, the number 1 glider for 2023 is up for grabs. I mean, it seems like everyone's kind of taking a shot at it. We'll see if the Sakura Origami Glider sticks it out and continues this way, but it's really strong right now. It has been around for a while, so, I mean, I don't see it, you know, we'll talk about how many tracks it has left, but, you know, if you're looking to invest in gliders early for 2023, I don't see the Sakura Origami Glider being like the number 1 glider of the year. I think right now it's currently the number 1, but if you have to use it for ranked and you need to invest in something, I mean, this top shelf is looking real tight. We got the Piranha Plant Balloons, which was a former number 1 there for a little bit. Number 6 on our list right now. 26 assumed tracks, 5 cities, but not in ranked. Black Star Shoot in ranked. It's nice to see that. 22 assumed tracks, 6 cities, number 8 on our list. Tropical Balloons does get the Rainbow Road R, which is, it's kind of been in this sneaky purgatory between 10 and 20 on our top 10, and just kind of gets like a little buff here, a little getting thrown a bone here. I don't know. It's been hanging on pretty well though. We'll see if it has like enough oomph to keep it there for quite some time, or maybe push it into the top 10 finally. But the Rainbow Road R is a good buff. I mean, I'm happy to have it for All Cup ranking. We'll see if it becomes in ranked in the future, but I can't get hopes too high on it. The red and gold umbrella, I kind of was dissing it a little bit when I was talking with Raker, but I think this is, looking at its coverage, it's got 21 assumed tracks, 9 cities. Not bad. Not a bad option for you if you have to invest in it. Yeah, the pink magnifying glass, I know you and I have been mentioning that before. 23 assumed tracks, got the Rainbow Road T. It's a fine buff there. Kind of similar to the Rainbow Road R as we've discussed. 9 cities though for it. Pink Gold Meteors. This is a nice buff here for the Pink Gold Meteors. Again, it's a tough top shelf to cover for gliders. Got the Weaver R2. Number 22 on our list, which is good for a glider that's been out for over a year. Really kind of skimmed through the rest. Cream Toe Bean Balloons, I kind of mentioned this before as a sneaky one. 21 assumed tracks, 11 cities. Kind of high in the city count, but it's got a ranked buff. Tough one to cover as well. Then some other ones kind of to refer to. The Aurora Balloons, number 49, but it's got the ranked buff. Luigi's Mustache has the week 1 Rainbow Road. 23 assumed tracks, 6 cities. New Year's 2023. So this has kind of been a controversial one. We've talked about the New Year's gliders being, notorious in the past, but a low number of tracks, 10 total tracks, but 0 cities. Ranked track, number 64 on our list after being brand new. We'll see what happens to it, and that's all I'll discuss here. But Antilev, what's your thoughts on all these gliders with 1 buff before we move to the top 10?
No, I mean, nothing really to add here. It's like Pink Gold Meteors. It's a really nice buff. It's a really good to see that one. I mean, that's 25 tracks. That's pretty solid. Sakura Origami. As I will say, the way Larry prepares the slides, he doesn't include the nitros. Sakura Origami has 4 nitros. So in my model, actually has 31 retros. As opposed to 27, so that is a plus and a minus. We changed the model recently to include the nitros, not with cities, but with the assumed tracks, the retros. So that's a bit why it's being bumped up to number 1, because 31 tracks is crazy for any item, but especially for glider.
That's a good point. We'll sync you guys up, but I mean, we've kind of talked about how nitro tracks are above cities. There's still so many cities we haven't seen in years. So whereas nitros, we know that we're going to see it every year, just like many of the nitros, many of the retros. Good points there. Let's talk about the top 10. We'll start with drivers. Number 10, White Tanuki Mario, 23 assumed tracks, 10 nitro, 45 tracks left to see. Got some good pairings there with Meowser and company, covering 94 of the 264 assumed tracks. It does overlap 6 times with the giant banana friend there, Rosalina Chef. Let's talk about number 9, PD Piranha Gold. He did go down 1 spot. Can't say that he got great buffs this tour. That's probably why. But he's got 17 assumed tracks, 5 nitros, 102 tracks left to see. That's still a lot for a giant hitbox, for a wide hitbox driver. Got some good pairings there, mostly with Meowser and PD Piranha, except for he does overlap with PD Piranha regular 5 times and Mario Samurai 4 times. Number 8, Pink Shy Guy Ninja, still crushing it this year. He's up 1 spot to number 8. 27 assumed tracks, 12 nitros, 13 tracks left to see. Not that many, but pairs really well with Meowser and Tie-Dye, covering 95 of the 264 tracks. Does overlap 6 times with PD Piranha and 5 times with Charging Chuck. Number 7 on our list, PD Piranha, down 1 spot to number 7. Covering 28 assumed tracks, 6 nitros. That's a lot of tracks. Still has 41 tracks left to see. Really good driver there if you like Boomerang and like trying to go for that boombox. He does got a good pairing, covering 97 of the 264 tracks. With Saddle of You, Meowser, and Tie-Dye. Tie-Dye you're starting to see in the pairings for the first time, really, this tour. Does overlap 6 times with PD Piranha Mesuit. That's kind of tough, as well as also Shy Guy Ninja Pink. Then overlaps 5 times with Gold PD and Rosalina Chef. We got number 6 up 1 spot is Luigi Knight, covering 24 assumed tracks, 8 Nitro. Still 60 tracks left to see. That's a lot. Pairs really well with PD Piranha, Meowser, and Tie-Dye, covering 94 of the 264 tracks. Does overlap 6 times with Gold Yoshi, Gold Something, and Mario Samurai 5 times. Then Meowser, holding down the number 5 spot. 30 assumed tracks, 4 Nitros, 1 track left to see. Covered 97 of the 264 tracks with PD Piranha, Tie-Dye, and Mario Saddle of You. Does overlap 7 times with Shy Guy Ninja and Mario Samurai, 6 times with Kamek, and 5 times with the Gold Mii Racing Suit. The question block Mii Racing Suit, who isn't ranked this tour, so if you need to invest in them, highly recommend it. These Mii suits are absolutely bonkers right now. 22 assumed tracks, 7 Nitro, still 21 tracks left to see. Some good pairings there, covering 91 of the 264 tracks. Does overlap 6 times with Mario Saddle of You and 5 times with PD Piranha. Number 3 on our list, Gold Charging Chuck, covering 24 assumed tracks, 7 Nitro, still 57 tracks left to see. Some good pairings there with Kangaroo Yoshi and PD Piranha, covering 95 of the 264 tracks. Overlaps those 6 times with the non-gold version of himself. Then finally, fell down 1 spot from number 1 to number 2 is the Gold Mii Racing Suit, 25 assumed tracks, 14 Nitro, 10 tracks left to see. He is killing, I will say, out of the 45 tracks in All Cup ranking, Gold Mii Suit and question mark block. If you're going for All Cup ranking, yeah, it's hard to argue him being the number 1. Because between these 2 guys, I think covering 16 of the 45 tracks, which is about 35%. That's absolutely insane. He's crushing it. He does overlap 6 times with Peach Happy and Gold Yoshi, Gold Something. 5 times with Meowser, 5 times with Luigi Vacation. And then finally, our number 1 driver again, Daisy Tie Dress, my friend Tie-Dye. She's got 27 assumed tracks, 9 Nitro, still 41 tracks left to see. That's absolutely insane. Covering 97 of the 264 tracks with PD Piranha, Meowser, Mario Saddle of You. Does overlap 6 times with Yoshi Kangaroo. But, you know, considering the fact that she's got 36 total tracks, 6 isn't bad. So, with the top 10, tell us what your thoughts are as I catch my breath and grab some water. What's your thoughts, Antilev?
And yeah, the top 10 is pretty boring. The Mario King jumped up a lot. He went up from 18 to 11, based on the strength of his very, very extremely valuable buff. Larry Wintertime snuck into the top 15 already, wow, because he got 4 buffs. I mean, it's not really that much of a surprise. Other than that, yeah, they're not really like Daisy Tie Dress and Gold Mii Racing Suit are less than half a point apart. So.
Insane.
They're kind of 1A and 1B.
Yep.
Other than that, no. I mean, the drivers didn't move around that much.
Yeah, you can see there the raw score underneath the number 1 or or if they held out. But yeah, if you can see it, Tie-Dye said 100% everyone who's at number 1. That's kind of the pinnacle, and then it's all compared off of that value. Gold Mii Racing Suit 99.63. So as you can see, less than 1 point. Gold Charging Chuck not far behind, question block a little bit farther behind, and there's a big drop. Meowser's not close to the number 1 anymore. He's at 88. Then you can see there's kind of a big drop between PD Piranha and Pink Shy Guy Ninja. So we'll see how things all pan out, but that's our top 10. Thanks for rounding this out. Yeah, Gold Yoshi, Gold Something at 12, PD Piranha Mii Racing Suit at 13, and Cat Luigi at 14, as we already alluded to. Larry Wintertime at 15. Let's get into the carts. So the Strawberry Soft Swerve was in the top 10, fell out of the top 10, now in the top 10 again, but just at number 10. 21 assumed tracks, 8 Nitro. We kind of have the coverage comparing it to other large or bigger overlap. And actually, it's a pretty short list. The Strawberry Soft Swerve overlaps a lot with some of the Goo Goo Buggies and some of the Watermelon Karts and some of the minibuses, some of the Cat Cruisers, some of the Streetles. So as you can see, it's a much bigger hitbox than a lot of those. So it does overlap 7 times with the Watermelon Kart. I think it's the Chocolate Banana minibus, and then the Green Cat Cruiser 5 times with the Goo Goo Pink and the Streetle. Again, all those carts teeny tiny. So Strawberry Soft Swerve, really strong, big hitbox for those who need it. And then it does pair really well with some of these common carts you'll see us talk a lot about, covering 95 of the 264 tracks. At number 9, the Lightning Streamliner, 21 assumed tracks, 9 nitro, still 41 tracks left to see. I'm surprised that is as high as it is. Here's some good pairings to cover 91 of the 264 tracks. Does overlap 7 times with the Red Off-Roader and 5 times with the Gold Bullet Blaster. I don't have either of those 2 carts very high, so Lightning Streamliner is actually my best option for the Battle Track 1. So, I'm taking it to 8 double uncap this tour, and so it's doing pretty well for my account. Just I think when it comes to the battle modes, I have to start planning ahead on all those, making sure that I have every single battle track covered with at least a level 8. That's a really important goal for my account. But hopefully that helps you out. Ice Cream Minibus, 25 assumed tracks, 7 nitro here, 45 tracks left to see. With the pairing, covers 97 of the 264 tracks. By the way, all these pairings are brought to you by Eternal Dude's coverage. His optimizer is absolutely phenomenal. And as you can see here, the data sheet, the coverage is brought to us by Larry98. Absolute phenomenal resource. I want to make sure I can mention Larry as many times as possible. This Ice Cream Minibus, though, overlaps 6 times with this Coral Jet Cruiser, 5 times with the Goo Goo Pink and the Blue-Green Capsule Cart. Then number 7, we got the Red Off-Roader, 20 assumed tracks, 7 nitro, still a whopping 57 tracks up to see, which you like to see there. Pairs really well with the Yellow Off-Roader. You like to hear that. And then also this other Ice Cream Bus that we just referred to. And then the Gold Pumpkin Cart. Between these pairings can cover 90 of the 264 tracks. Just be aware, it does overlap 7 times with the Lightning Streamliner, 6 times with the, I believe this is the Blazing Speeder or Flaming Speeder, and then 5 times with the Gold Bullet Blaster. Number 6, Flower Badwagon, up 1 spot, 21 assumed tracks, 6 nitro, 44 tracks left to see. Here's a good pairing with the Yellow Off-Roader, Romby Runner, and the Armored Rider, covering 95 of the 264 tracks. Some overlap with some smaller carts. So this is a positive thing for the Flowery Badwagon, between the Coconut 1, the White Bruiser, and the Banana Chocolate Minibus. Then we have at number 5, the Gold Bullet Blaster, up 1 spot to 22 assumed tracks, 5 nitro, 57 tracks left to see. Does overlap 6 times with the Classic B-Dasher Mark II and the Flaming Speeder, and then 5 times with the Red Off-Roader. Now, you'll notice that I just mentioned 3 carts that went up 1 spot, and before that, 2 carts, 1 that went up 1 spot, 1 that went up 5. Really, what happened was the Tropical Truck fell 7 spots, and so everyone moved up 1. So, Antilev, I'll have you when we get to the top 10. Tell us a little bit about what happened to the Tropical Truck. I know I absolutely
everything below you all got buffs. I mean, that's basically it.
So it just basically did not get buffs, and because of that, just fell pretty quickly. But as you'll see in our raw score, it didn't take much for it to drop that 7 spots. Streetle did fall 1 spot though. 20 assumed tracks, 4 nitro. Of course, all it did is get 1 buff that wasn't very great. And that's the downside of investing in the Streetle. Is it similar to other small carts, maybe even similar to the Tropical Truck, which isn't as small as the Streetle, but on the smaller end of things. All it takes is to not get buffed, and it could fall out. It does overlap 6 times with the Gold Pumpkin Cart. Is that no Gold Trickster, and then 5 times with the Strawberry Soft Swerve. Finally, the number 3. Huge favorite for those who paid for it, the Moo Off-Roader, 19 assumed tracks, 1 nitro. Can't talk more highly enough about it. 117 tracks left to see. Pairs really well with some meta carts, including the Yellow Off-Roader, the Pumpkin Cart, and the Armored Rider. And then the overlap, 2 smaller carts, 6 times with the Pink Sneaker, 5 times with the Black Turbo Yoshi. So again, if you needed any more reason, if you have the Moo Off-Roader, there's no reason why it shouldn't be at a higher level for you and for your account. It's really, really strong. Then the Shielded Speedster, 23 assumed tracks, 5 nitro, Even it's right there, pretty close to the. It didn't get great buffs this tour, but neither did the yellow off-roader. So it's very, very close to that number one spot. Got some good pairings there. It does overlap 6 times with the red off-roader, 5 times with the product pipes, and the green yellow capsule cart. Then finally, the cart of 2022, the yellow off-roader, 31 assumed tracks, 4 nitro. It doesn't matter, it doesn't have any tracks left to see. It's an absolute monster. Now, of course, it didn't have any buffs this tour, but that's okay. It's still crushing it. It does overlap 7 times with the Tanuki cart and the chocolate macaroon, 6 times with the combo cruiser, purple bunny, why am I forgetting? Just Cactex. And then the brown off-roader. So there we go. Those are the top 10. Yellow off-roader, the raw score obviously of 100 with the Shield Speedster, 5 points away. And then everything else is a couple points away from each other. Moomoo off-roader really coming up close to the Shield Speedster. They are 13 points away. So they're like really neck and neck. We'll see if the Moomoo off-roader gets and beats out the Shield Speedster. Hopefully not, but we'll see. I mean, I'm really hoping the Shield Speedster somehow gets back to his number one spot again. But, man, the Moomoo off-roader is jumping quick, guys. It's absolutely crazy right now. And then all the way down, you'll notice there's pretty tightly clustered between the Streetle and the Strawberry Soft Swerve. Everyone's within about 5 points of each other. Then Shield Speedster 11, Tropical Truck at 12, Blue-Green Capsule Card at 13, and Flaming Speeder at 14 with the Red Vampire Flyer at 15. Red Vampire Flyer fell a lot. If you want to touch on that, Antilev, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, like, first of all, Boom Off-Roader and Shielded Speedster are very, very, very close. If you look at the raw scores, they're like within 0.13 of each other. So that's, but other than that, we didn't really get like a big shake up at the top 10. Ice Cream Minibus jumped in the top 10, up 6 spots. That was on basis of good buffs. Same kind of story for Pink Speeder. Got some good buff. Other than that, there's nothing unexpected here. This is exactly what you would expect from the current ranked and what items are relevant.
Okay, all right. Anything you want to say about the Red Vampire Flyer? Why it fell? Just it didn't get the buffs.
Well, if it's not ranked and it fell down, also, the thing is that we had so many buffs this tour, and we had not. We didn't really have like individual items that had a lot of buffs. They were really spread out. So if it's like 5 or 6 other teams or other teams, 5 or 6 other carts get like a buff, I mean, it just goes down. It doesn't go down in absolute terms, but relative to the others, yeah.
Okay, all right, fair enough. Let's get into the gliders. We got the record setter at 10, fell down 2 spots, 28 assumed tracks, 9 nitro. Still a solid glider with this pairing between the Candlelight Flight, 8-bit Fire Flower, and the Bright Balloons. It can cover 102 of the 264 tracks. Probably the biggest downside to it, though, 8 overlaps with the Wonderful Wings. What was the number one glider of 2022. Does overlap 7 times with the Galaxy Glider and 7 times with the Icy Mario's Mustache. So that's really, really tough. That's a big thorn in its side. Mario's Hat Balloon, we talked a little bit about it, up 5 spots. 22 assumed tracks, 8 nitro, still 60 tracks left to see. Does overlap 7 times, though, with the 8-bit 1-Up Mushroom, which has been a really strong glider. And potentially, I think a lot of people are predicting the number one glider of 2023. We'll see what happens with that. But, again, came out of this tour with no buff. So that part was kind of strange. Obviously, Rainbow Road, kind of tied in with a lot of 8-bit stuff. If you think about Mario SNES, he came out in a Rainbow Road tour with the 8-bit tour. And then, the 8-bit 1-Up Mushroom not getting any buffs at all. That's really, really scary. Minted Berry Balloons, 6 overlaps, and then the Secure Origami Glider, which we talked about being a top glider 6 times. That is kind of scary there. With the Black Star Chute, 22 assumed tracks, 6 nitro, still 57 tracks left to see, which is really, really great. Some good pairings there with the Glittering Parasol and the 8-bit Fire Flower. Does overlap 8 times with the Boom Mask, which is kind of alarming, though, when you're talking about 28 total tracks, and then 6 times with the Candlelight Flight. Icy Mario's Mustache, we've talked a little bit about this. 21 assumed tracks, 11 nitro, 45 tracks left to see. Still strong in some of those regards. Here's a good pairing with the pink gold meteor balloon. So if you have to invest in this ranked week 2 track along with some of these meta items, not a bad option for you. Covering 95 of the 264 tracks. Does overlap 7 times with this record setter and 5 times with the polka dot manta glider. Piranha Plant balloons, 26 attuned tracks, 5 nitro, still 41 tracks to see. I was surprised to see that number as high as it is, up 1 spot to number 6. Does pair really well with some awesome manta gliders. So this is like one where I think a lot of people had this 8-bit super mushroom, had the 8-bit bullet bill, had the wonderful wings up high. Does overlap, does pair really well with them. 97 of the 264 tracks with those 3, as well as also a little switch out with the glittering parasol and the super mushroom. However, probably the biggest thorn on the side is the 8-bit 1-up mushroom covering, overlapping 7 times with it. You know, we're talking about 31 total tracks. 7's enough, especially with a top glider. That can be kind of alarming. And then 6 times with the Candlelight Flight. Vanilla and chocolate balloons holding tight at number 5 spot. 25 assumed tracks, 8 nitro. Those overlap 7 times with the tropical balloons, 6 times with the green cap parafoil, and 5 times with the pink magnifying glass. We got the green cap parafoil holding down number 4 at 26 assumed tracks, 8 nitro, 31 tracks left to see. Some unique pairings there with the Starry Great Sail. Does overlap 6 times with the vanilla and chocolate balloons, 5 times with the Piranha Plant balloons, and then 5 times with the mint and berry balloons. Then we have the 8-bit 1-up mushroom. Again, we talked about it. Didn't get buffed. Fell down 2 spots. It's kind of alarming, but it had such a great start. We'll see what happens. 8-bit always seemed to come in pretty clutch, so we'll see what happens in future tours. 25 assumed tracks, 7 nitro. Still 41 tracks left to see. That is a good sign of it. It does overlap 7 times with the Piranha Plant balloons and the Mario's Mustache. 2 top 10 gliders. Then number 2, mint and berry balloons. This was a number 2 last time, so it got leapfrogged a little bit by this secure origami glider. But number 24 assumed tracks, 9 nitro. Some really unique, crazy pairings there. You're starting to see the pink gold meteor balloons start to be in the pairings, which is kind of interesting. It does overlap 6 times with the Mario hat balloons and the flying flappers, 5 times with the green parafoil and the tropical balloons. Then finally, our number 1 glider in the game, 27 assumed tracks, 9 nitro, so a total of 36 tracks, 13 tracks left to see. Again, we kind of talked about some of those nitro being tied to Ninja Hideaway. It does overlap 7 times with the Candlelight Flight. That's kind of concerning. Now, it's got a lot of tracks, 36 is a lot, so 7 may not be a big deal, but the Candlelight Flight was one that a lot of people invested in, so just be aware of that. And then 5 times with the Dream Glider and the Black Star Chute. All right, so what's your thoughts on the top 10 gliders? Oh, you might be on mute, buddy. Sorry.
Sorry, a little bit of a shakeup, but it's still relatively boring. I see Mario's Mustache went up a lot, but it didn't increase in actual value. It just happened to leapfrog a bunch of items significantly. There's not really a lot to say here. It's pretty much it is what it is, and I think if you look at this tour and you look at these items, it makes sense.
Fair point there. To round out the top 15, we got Bootmaster 11, 8-bit Fireflyer at 12, Tropical Balloons at 13, Wonderful Wings at 14, and Candlelight Flight at 15. So those are the top 10. Let's talk about, let's kind of take a little zoom out. See what some of the top movers and shakers are this tour. Santa Me Racing Suit, we already kind of talked about this. Went up 28 spots, the biggest mover on the list. So it went from 66 to 38. So, relatively new, obviously 2 tours ago, already in our top 40. That's phenomenal. Black Me Racing Suit went up 27 spots. Kitsune Luigi up to 47. Yellow Me Racing Suit at 50, went up 17 spots. Luigi Chef went up 16 spots to 57. And then Dry Bones Me Racing Suit went up 11 spots to 43. King Bombo. So you see a lot of Me suits, but again, nothing really jumping into our top 30 at all. So just keep that in the back of your mind. And then we're talking about Karts. Swift Talent jumped up 38 spots to almost cut its lead in half. Went from 82 to 44. Lunar Cruiser broke the top 100 to number 75. Blazing Eagle went up 24 spots to 20. Like I said, these two Eagle carts finally found a good tour to walk away. Consider it a winner. Again, you can kind of take it for what it's worth, just knowing that it's unlocks for all cities. But we have the camo Tanuki carts up to 39, black sneaker at 45, and the watermelon cart up to 32. As for the gliders, the Festive Holly went up 27 spots to number 53. They're still outside the top 50, but 27 is a pretty big jump. Came out 2 tours ago. Planet Glider, I wouldn't invest in this, guys. Up 23 spots, but still 123. Pink Gold Meteors. This one looks bright, but again, we're kind of in this like Meteor Rainbow Road. So, this might go back down next tour. It did go up 16 spots to number 22. Wonderful Garnet up 15 spots to 31. That's exciting. Tulip Corsage went up 10 spots to 21. Still on the outside of the top 20. And then the Icy Mars Mustache, we already talked about this, went up 8 spots, but it was at 15, so put it in the top 10. And then the Cream Tobian Balloons went up 6 spots to 28, and then the Mario's Hat Balloon went up 5 spots to number 9. What's your thoughts, Antilev, on any of these movers or shakers?
This tour, not a lot's going on. We didn't get any crazy exclusives, aside from a couple, and it's been pretty low-key, so...
Now, we say low-key, but that's because we didn't get 2 new sets of tracks. We've been getting 2 new sets of tracks.
It's because we got 1 new set of tracks, and all the returning tracks are pretty old, so we didn't get a lot of buffs on new tracks. So that's why the model is kind of dead or stable, but it's a good thing. We want to have a stable model.
Yeah, I've heard some people saying that the algorithm is a little volatile. I like it that way. I like getting ahead of the curve. I like knowing what's hot before anyone knows it's hot. And I think that's what's great about having the algorithm as aggressive or as it is. But even this tour, again, you nailed it on the head. This was kind of stagnant for a tour, but that's because the tour was a little stagnant in the tours that it brought back, which is completely fair. Now let's talk about ranked. So ranked, there are no unlocks for Rainbow Road or Boo Lake 2. So what you see is what you get. But the Remix Rainbow Road 2 RT, you got a lot of options. Hopefully you're using the question mark block suit. If not, you do have Builder Toad as an option. Here's a really, really important one for you to take note of. If you are struggling with ranked, you need some points. You may not know that the Cupid's Arrow is unlocked on this track at level 6. So there's not a lot of great options when it comes to the hitbox. I think I'm using the gold egg myself. But the Cupid's Arrow unlocks at level 6. So just be aware of that. That's a big hitbox. It's a meta cart. Would pair really well with some of your items. It's really important to note of that. Rainbow Taxi. You may not want to take this brand new cart all the way to 6, but for what it's worth, it's an option. And then the Frostwing, for those who invest in the Frostwing and have it at level 8, you're using it. It's an above average hitbox. Not it's technically medium, but I think it's on the higher side of that, kind of around the tropical truck area. So it's not a bad option for you if you have it at level 8 or close to level 8. It does unlock there. I will say it's kind of got some weird coverage, a lot of tied to winter ice items for what it's worth. So I wouldn't necessarily recommend it. As for the gliders, the vanilla and chocolate balloons, which we talked about as a meta glider, it does unlock at level 3. Really important to know. The tropical balloons, really strong glider as well. I think overall, if you've been following the meta, you're not too worried about this track. This track has a lot of meta gliders on it. It does have the glittering parasol at level 8, the gold Tanuki parafoil at level 8, and the starry great sail at level 8. But there's plenty of options even that just come out the gate. So hopefully you do really well. This is the highest scoring track arguably this week one, especially if you have the question mark block suit. I mean, we've seen some insane scores in the high 70s. It's a high scoring track. We're talking about 260 actions could be possible. I think I saw Auto Drift get 263 pretty quickly. He said within the first 5 minutes. So it is certainly possible. Definitely, that's if you're trying to make up some room. These are some of the investments you might want to look into. As for week 2, we got the Rainbow Road RT with the purple Me Racing suit at level 8. Don't even think about it. Gold Lunar Cruiser at level 8. Rainbow Taxi at level 8. Rainbow Fair Flyer. Really, the Rainbow Fair Flyer, if you want to get a little frisky and you want to go all in on that, that might make sense. Everything else, though, guys, I wouldn't necessarily recommend that. And then for Ghost Valley 2, We got the Pink Toad Pit Crew. Certainly, this is a good option. So, if you're looking to take a super all the way to level 6, and you don't have any good options, that's actually a pretty solid option there for you. PD Piranha Gold. If you've been waiting to take him up to a high level, this is a really strong option. Now, I get it, it's level 8, but I have it at level 8, and I'll be using it, and it's gonna crush. It's not a great track for a high action count, but if you have a coin box driver, this is an awesome track to just stay flat, get coin boxes, and absolutely crush it. So PD Piranha, this is a great track for him, and he is absolutely crushing it if you're willing to invest in him. Streetle at level 6, we already kind of talked about it being pretty strong. Even if you're using the Streetle and PD Piranha Gold, you're probably getting pretty good coins. Again, hitboxes also depend on the driver too. Boom Masks at level 8 and Gold Meteors at level 8. Boom Masks might be one you're playing around with, might be a good option there for you. And then Twilight House, nothing unlocks. But again, I think that's the big topic here. It's what's your thoughts on having a battle track in ranked? I know you were learning a lot about battle mode in your top 10 run. Any tips you can give for people having to get back in the battle mode of things?
Just Twilight House. So just use Meows or get your interactions and get out. Don't spend too much time on it.
Yeah, no shrimping this time. But yeah, honestly, I think a lot of people in the community, rightly so. I'm actually more concerned about what battle mode in ranked. This takes the fun out of it, in my opinion. But we do have Meowser there. I think if it was the Battle Course 1, the goofy looking one that we had last tour, I'd be a little bit more concerned. That one's just tough, man. The top shelf drivers are weird, and I don't know. I'm not a big fan of it. This Twilight House is probably the more fun battle mode track, and we have some coin box drivers. We even have now the Santa Misu, which is a pretty strong option on this track. If I'm debating, should I use Meowser or the Santa Me, which I have maxed out at I'm triple uncapped, so it's 1810 I think is his base points. So it's going to be a decision for me, but I'm going to have to use coin box because for me it's just like it's nothing compares to coin box on that track. Multiple use. We talked about the Santa Me 3 times straight up. You don't have to unlock anything. It's a really strong option in ranked because of those 3 tracks we just mentioned. Purple Me Racing Suit you can use 3 times. I wouldn't recommend it. Black Me Racing Suit 2. Cat as well too. Kamek, 2 strong options there for you if you want to between the Twilight and that Rainbow Road. Style of View you can use 2 times. Piranha 2 times straight up there, and then really everyone else you're probably going to want to stay away from. As for Karts, this Rainbow Taxi you can use 4 times. So again, I know we're kind of dogging it because of its hitbox size, but you can use it 4 times, but you have to take it up to level 8 to use it 4 times, and level 6 to use it 3 times. So I don't know, it's going to be tough to justify that investment. Blooper Shuttle 3 times, Dark Trickster, Gold Bullet Blaster, Blue-Green Capsule Cart, Lightning Streamliner, Lunar Cruiser, Red Vampire Flyer, Sleigh Rider, all used 2 times without any unlocks there. Surprised to see the Red Vampire Flyer on there, having considered its drop. Sleigh Rider, the Gold Lunar Cruiser, you can unlock at level 8 to use it 2 times, and then Streetle 2 times. Let me ask you that question. So, we kind of talked about the Red Vampire Flyer and Antilev dropping, but it is used in ranked twice. Did that help it at all, or was it just because it?
Yeah, for sure it helped it. But the thing is, like, when an item isn't ranked on an older track, it gets a modifier to the value of that track for itself. But if it's an older track, it's multiplicative, so it will be less.
And I assume that's probably because you can't predict it's going to be in ranked anytime soon because it's an older track. So this might be the only time it's in ranked this year. But we never know. You never know. Nintendo can do some weird stuff. The Gold Meteors 3 times thanks to that level 8 unlock. The Rainbow Fire Flower, same thing, has a level 8 unlock if you're willing to invest in it. Then we have a number of items used 2 times with no unlocks. The 8-bit Fire Flower, Black Star Shoot, Candlelight Flight. So 3 meta gliders right there. That really strong investments. Then you have the Meteor Balloons, the Nabbit Oil Paper Umbrella, Pink Gold Meteors, which have been 3 strong at one point in time gliders. Candlelight, Silver Candlelight Flight, used 2 times. Vampire Flyer 2 times without anything unlocked. And then the Boom Masks, thanks to that level 8 unlock, can be used 2 times. Antilev, what's your thoughts on ranked and multiple use?
No, it's a tricky one. Like, it's not like a lot of items you can invest in that cover like multiple difficult tracks. So good luck.
Yeah, good luck for sure.
I do like the fact that we're getting back a lot of like really good quality tracks like RMX Rainbow Road T, Blue Lake T, etc. I mean, like it's nice, and only 2 new tracks in ranked instead of 6.
Yeah, good point there. And then All Cup ranking MVPs. Mario Salaview, no surprise here. He's obviously got his head on the badge, whether you like it or not. He's used 12 times. Gold Me Racing Suit, 11. Guys, that's massive. This might tip your hand to go for top 100, top whatever. If you have the Gold Me Racing Suit, using him 11 times is absolutely bonkers. That's what you want to see. Fire Rosalina 11 times. Toad Astronaut 10 times. And then Question Block 9 times. So between the Gold Me Racing Suit and the Question Block, there is some overlap with them because of the Me Cup boost, etc. But I believe they're used 16 times between the 2 of them out of the 45 tracks. That's 35%. That's really, really strong. If you've invested in Mies, this might be a good chance for you to go for top 100, top 10, etc. Purple Me Racing Suit 9, Toadette Astronaut 9, Black Me Racing Suit and King Boo Luigi Mansion 8 times. If you like King Boo Luigi Mansion, thinking of you crazy. Cat Me Racing Suit, Pauline Rose, Bowser Pirate, King Boo Gold, Mario SNES, Peach Halloween, Shy Guy Gold, Tanuki Rosalina, and Dry Bones Gold, all used 7 times. It's interesting how we have some of these Halloween items in here for this tour. Very surprising.
Well, we've got Boo Lake and Ghost Valley too.
Yeah,
so.
And Twilight House, which is kind of Halloween-y as well. Blooper Shuttle and Rainbow Taxi used 11 times. No surprise there. Gold Cheap Charger and Lunar Cruiser and Gold Lunar Cruiser used 10 times. Comet Tail, Gold Egg, Dreamy Egg, Party Wing, Gold Cheap Snorkel, and Painter used 8 times, with Magna Broom, Dark Trickster, 8-Bit Pipe Frame, Gold Pipe Frame, Red Vampire Flyer, Combo Cruiser, Gold Trickster, and Gold Trading used 7 times. And then for gliders, Gold Meteors and Rainbow Fair Flyer used 11 times, Glinting Glider 10 times, Pink Gold Meteors, 8-Bit Fireflower, 8-Bit Star, Silver Candlelight Flight, all used 8 times. Starry Great Sail, Chocolate Banana Crepe, Golden Wings, Meteor Balloons, Planet Glider, Rainbow Starshoot, and the Gold Home Field Glider, all used 7 times. Anton, what's your thoughts on the All Cup ranking MVPs?
Yeah, so this is a really interesting tour in terms of ACR. Like, compared to last tour, we only had 23 unique tracks because everything was doubled except for Daisy Hills, Daisy Hills RT. This tour, we have almost nothing doubled. The only double tracks are the battle tracks and Wii Rainbow Road RT is not twice, but otherwise we have all like new fresh tracks. This is going to make it a lot harder for ACR because you have to invest in more items coverage-wise to fill like more holes. Just we have so many tracks this tour. The Mii suits are definitely kings. The Blockhead and the Gold Me suit, like you said, they cover 16 tracks together, 17 tracks together. Yeah, other than that, nothing really to mention. I would say be careful about investing for ACR this tour, even though it's not a city tour. A lot of the items, because there's so many older courses, you might be looking at items which have had good value but aren't currently like meta because they're older. But yeah, it's up to you.
Yeah, so I was talking with Breaker 85, who has gone for top 100 a couple times but never top 10. I was kind of talking about some of his investment. It is kind of scary. I mean, he would have to invest in the Lunar Cruiser and the red and gold umbrella and some items that may not be used outside this tour. I know that you still got that Tiger Bruiser sitting there. It's all maxed out from your run. I mean, that does happen. I will say, for what it's worth, yeah, these are some older tracks. But every time Rainbow Road comes back, and every time that I'm sure we'll have more space tours in the future. At least you'll have good coverage on those tracks for what it's worth. So, yeah, it's a kiss of death for sure. Well, there you go, guys. That is almost 2 hours of the rundown. Thank you for taking the time to walk through all these buffs in the top 10 and have this meta level conversation. Honestly, I'm tickled pink just to be able to join you, Antilev, every other week to talk about this. I'm excited for this tour. This will be a fun tour, as you know, the 8 days that I have access to it before I go on vacation. I'll probably play a little bit on vacation, but ultimately, I like some of these Rainbow Road tracks. There's some of these though. The Rainbow Road, I think it's like the remix to where you got so much gliding, and you got that little, there's that little drop in, you're there for like 2 seconds, and then you're gliding again. Couple rough ones, but overall it's gonna be a fun tour. I like the Rainbow, and there's something nostalgia about being back on Rainbow Road. It's a fun new track. We've got some Lucky 7 drivers using it again between Lakitu Party Time and Saddle of You and now the Santa Me. It's been a while since I've used Lucky 7 drivers, so I'm excited about using them again. I don't know. I'm optimistic about this tour. It'll be fun, but what would you like to say about this tour and to your fans as we wrap up?
No, you covered it. I'm with you. It's kind of exciting in that sense. Yeah, no, nothing else to say really.
Well, thank you for joining me, Antilev. Thank you to Larry98 for doing his sheets. Thank you to a Turtle Dude with the coverage optimizer. And huge shout out to Alberto, who's been helping out with the slides. Couldn't have done without you guys. Thank you guys so much. So until next time, may the frenzy luck be with you. See you guys.